Alrighty, I think we're live.
Yeah, I think we're live and we already have a couple of attendees joining in. Cool, I think we can start. Shaunak, you can share your screen.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Let me just share my screen and minimize, put everyone on the top. All right.
All right, well, good day, everyone. Welcome to our webinar titled Recruitment Agencies Blueprint for Scalable Growth. I'm Chavi, Content Manager here at Recruit CRM. I will be your host and moderator for today's session. It's cool to see that we already have a good number of people joining in. So whether you're tuning in on LinkedIn, Zoom, or YouTube, feel free to drop in a hello in the chat or the comments and let us know where you're joining from. We would love to see how far we're reaching today. All right. I'd like to let everyone know that towards the end of the webinar, we'll have a live Q&A round during which we'll take questions from the audience. So feel free to drop in your questions at any point throughout the webinar using the Q&A option on your screen. And if you're joining on LinkedIn or YouTube, you can drop in your questions in the comments and our team will pick up as many questions as we can from there as well. Cool. All right. So yeah, this webinar is powered by Recruit CRM. A quick introduction about us. We are a next generation ATS plus CRM software serving over 1,500 customers in over 100 countries across the globe with a global team of 200 plus experts. Our software helps speed up business development, simplify recruitment processes, and boost daily productivity. And all of this is tailored to ensure growth for your company. And yeah, and we're also rated the best recruitment agency software by Capterra, G2, GetApp, and more. Cool. Now let's meet our speakers for the day. So first we have with us Emily Narsi. Emily is an international HR and talent acquisition expert with over 20 years of experience. Currently at Approach People Recruitment, Emily helps connect top talent with leading companies across Europe, bringing a powerful mix of innovation and execution to both global and local HR practices. Next, we have Aaron Lyon. He's a strategic leader with over 8 years at American Express, currently serving as Director of Strategic Planning and Chief of Staff. He's also the founder of Campfire Recruiting. Previously, Aaron held leadership positions at Tiffany & Company and Macy's. He's also earned multiple awards, including the American Express GBS Champions Award. And finally, we have our founder and CEO, Sean Malapurkar. Sean has built a cutting-edge ATS and CRM software helping recruiters scale their revenue and teams across over 100 plus countries globally. In the past 7 years, he's grown Recruit CRM to be, like I mentioned earlier, the highest rated recruitment software across all major software review boards. So yeah, welcome everyone. It's so exciting to have all of you here. And that's it from me. Over to you, Sean.
Hey, hello everyone. We're excited to have you here today, and we are excited to have two amazing guests. So a little more context on these guests, right? So you understand where they're coming from. We've two great flavors with our two guests. We've Emily. Emily's European. Emily's French. She's based in Dublin, Ireland. She essentially is Approach People Recruitment, which is a 50 to 60 person recruitment business spread across Ireland, France, Switzerland, and Spain. And then she runs all of the operations there. And from her, you'll get the perspective of a recruitment veteran that's essentially like a general on the field, it's ensuring all her team hits their KPIs and gets work done on a day-to-day basis. I've been to their office pretty much every year now for the last 3 or 4 years. So I've seen and lived the field. And it's they built an incredible business there. And so Emily will give you a lot of context on recruitment operations at scale and how that runs. With Aaron, we have a completely unique take. Aaron's a senior executive at Amex, a Fortune 500 business, but his side hustle has essentially transformed into a successful recruitment business. So he has his business isn't just him; it's a full team of people, and this is one of the rare instances where you have a senior executive at a global company starting a side hustle, which and it's still a style side hustle with a full team running it, and it's a fairly successful business. So he will talk about how he's automated the hell out of his business, so it doesn't take too much of his day every day. And those two perspectives are going to be transformational. So how to skyrocket your agency's growth, right? So we're going to get our experts to chime in on a couple of questions now. We'll do ladies first. So Emily, you go. You go first. Uh, what specific challenges pushed you to scale recruitment operations? So as you were growing your business, what started breaking first? What became the most painful that you thought you needed technology to help you solve?
I believe that what became the most painful was reporting and making the most of what we had, not starting new and not building different tools all the time. We added more and more technology, more and more reports, more and more job boards, more and more techniques, and it accumulates. And you end up with amazing systems, but none of it is connected. And you start being a data entry person. And then you realize that your team is spending much more time doing crazy reporting, crazy data entry, instead of talking to their client, to their candidate, and looking always for something new. So we
And
couldn't
what would you
optimize everything we had.
and Emily, just to cut in there before we ask Aaron to answer the same question, how much time do you think at its worst, right? In the worst phase in the last 10 years, was your team spending time every week? Like how many hours was the average person spending every week doing meaningless admin, right? Maybe filling sheets just so that you or Laura, who was the founder of Approach People, could see it, where it added no value to the business outside of them having to put something in so you could see it.
So many, actually, we didn't even count it at the time. I started calculating it when we implemented Recruit CRM, and we were looking to save time, but we didn't know how much. And we did some projection of thinking how much time do we spend doing that, multiply by the number of actions, multiply by the number of consultants that we had across Europe, and me as the manager consolidating data and everything. And I calculated that in average, we didn't put a clock on their desk, but in average, I think 250 hours a week across the organization saved. So it's nearly 2 full-time employees a week of
More
doing
than
that.
that,
We
more
have
than
to
that,
enter.
250 hours would be like 6 humans, right? 40 hours a week. Uh,
Yeah,
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 that's
no, it's completely mad, and everything goes so quick now that I always say every day I say how did we do before? Seriously, how much time it did? Everything goes so much faster that we focus on what's right. And systems and reporting is not talked about now in the team, not at all.
awesome. Aaron, what's your take on this? You have a completely different take, right? I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah. I mean, the way I always approach this as having a day job and also trying to run a business at night is anything that needed to get done during day hours need to be automated. So I would basically finish up my day job at American Express and sit down at my desk and after put my kids to sleep. It's 8 o'clock and I have like the 8 to 12 shift. And I needed that time to work on the customer facing element of the job, right? Respond to my emails, talk to my sister who I run the business with and some of our team members. And I just could not be spending that time doing admin or other things that really need to be churning during the day. So I realized very quickly that in the early days we were very much an email-based business, and all this stuff was happening on email, and I was like, it's just not sustainable. We're gonna like I can't stay up till 2, 3 in the morning every night doing this. There has to be a better way. So that's where we sort of made the jump to like, okay, let's see what technology's out there. Let's try a small ATS and see if it works. And then over time, I just kept going and going and going, right? And a good barometer for this was always when I was passing off work to other people, was I feeling pride in giving them that work? Or was I giving them the stuff that nobody wanted to do that I know that they weren't, happy to receive?
Like doing, yeah.
And yeah, and we have really smart, awesome people who I want to maximize, their potential and get them on things that they're jazzed about. And I found myself handing off tasks and
That you
admin
hated.
things that I hated, that they hated, and it just wasn't. It didn't feel like a meaningful place to work.
Yeah.
So that's always been a big driver. Like if I hear a little pain point from someone on my team that's killing them, I'm trying to find a solution for it.
And Aaron, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to have you answer the next question first because it just flows into what you're
Sure.
talking about. So did you instantly know, like right from the beginning, that you needed to use some sort of tech to like make this problem go away? Or did you try some other solutions, you know,
Um,
back office
yes,
staff?
I tried some stuff first. So like I went onto Fiverr in the early days and I was like, okay, maybe I could we were dealing with some integration issues. Like, okay, maybe I could have someone, a lower cost option, to do manual data entry, right? Something like that.
Someone in India or the Philippines, something like that, like a virtual assistant.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But I felt I still had to manage it, right? I still had to like train this person up, get them going. And again, I still had this feeling that they didn't really want to do this work. They were like, "I'll do this work," right? Because it's high paying for whatever currency I'm in. But it didn't feel like the right solution. So we tested that for a year, and then basically, if I think about like the step model, we went to really entry level things like within Gmail, just like creating templates in Gmail, right? Starting to get more comfortable with just automating, to an ATS, to like a super powered ATS like Recruit. And now I have a whole separate workflow in Zapier, which links into Recruit. So I'm still like kind of going deeper and deeper. I think my next stage will be just like what AI stuff can I do that links into Recruit. But what
We're
I
gonna
love
cover
about okay,
at the
good.
end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, what I find great about Recruit CRM, it's different than other platforms, and I know this is a helpful sales pitch for you.
Yes.
Is the linkage to external things like Zapier or your internal one that you just built, right, with
Well,
recipes is killer, right? Like that's the thing that makes my whole business work.
yep. And
It
I want to go
it
to
is
Emily
crazy,
because
and
Emily.
you do start doing one, and then you get ideas all the time because you start doing
Yeah.
one, and then you think about another one and another one.
Hmm.
And at the beginning, you contact your team, Sean, and then you
Yeah.
think, well, actually, they showed me how to do that. And what if I try that? And now it's nearly a game. It's so much fun
Yeah.
to find what we can automate.
And it's actually like doing the Rubik's Cube. Once you do it and it runs, it gives you it stimulates a part of your brain that you probably didn't remember existed, as in like the pleasure of setting an automation up and it just keeps running like magic. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm describing this in a way that probably doesn't make sense to a lot of the audience. It's like the feeling when you kick a football, right? You need to do it, uh, do it, know what it feels like. Uh, so next question, and this is probably an easier one. What has Recruit CRM done specifically, and to change the way you manage your workflow? So maybe like a simple before and after on maybe one or two or three things you guys were doing, how you were doing it before, and how you're doing it after you set up implementation. Emily, do you want to take that first?
Um, what I liked is actually I would change the response, but
Sure.
what I really liked is that Recruit CRM adapted to the way we want to work with our client, what makes sense for our candidates, for our consultant, for our clients, and not the other way around. So it changed that we could automatize things, and that even when I integrated new people in the team to train them, everything was laid out the way I wanted in the steps that we do. We do references at a different time than most of recruitment agencies. We do things, and the process takes you through the steps. So
Yep.
it's super easy to guide people to do the right thing. It changed immensely the amount of reporting, the integration with LinkedIn, with Outlook, with everything. The communication that we share within the team was so much better. We didn't have to ask and see that there was a note, but to understand the context, we have the conversation with the client. We know where is this candidate. We can share better. So the workflow is so much smoother now that we have one unique tool where everything is in. It really truly changed our life.
What about you, Aaron? Thanks for that, Emily. And Aaron, how did you have a before and after in your head, or?
Um, yes, yes, I have before and after. As I said, like we were totally an email-based company. So all of our workflows were basically email-based and really tough. So when we moved to Recruit, it was a game changer. It was like the level of customization and things that we could do. If I think about my like personal workflow in Recruit. What I love about it as a leader is I can go in there and see exactly what my team did for the week or for the day, right? I can literally manage output by having customized dashboards, and basically to see who's doing what's level of activity, what are the stages. I can get basically a pulse on the health of my business at any point in time just by going in there. So I used to have to go to a lot of different places to get that information, including talking to people right? And again, it's late because I'm working late. So I could go in there after hours and get a pulse check on how is the day going. So that for my personal workflow, that was tremendous. As far as like the workflows within it, I think the level of customization that we're able to get to tailor it to our business is remarkable.
Can,
We
can you
run a high volume. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead, John.
you think of a crazy customization? Because you've talked a lot in this session about like the way you've customized automations and workflows. Can the most hardcore or intense automation that you can think of that you have running, can you just maybe share that with the audience so they get
Yeah, yeah, I'll share a cool one that we just built and tested this year. So we our business is tailored to summer camps in the United States. There's 7,000 summer camps. And if you can imagine, each of them are hiring like 150 people every summer. So they need nurses and cooks and chefs and all these people to stand up a city. So it's very, very high volume, and we're processing literally thousands and thousands of applications in like a 90-day sprint. So everything needs to be working really smoothly, and we've started to now layer in evaluation tools to help us get a little better at like judging who's a good candidate and who's not. So one of the tools that we launched this year is a video component. It's held outside of Recruit CRM, but we've built it so that it feeds into Recruit CRM beautifully. So in the past, we really weren't able to get good like video from candidates. Now we have introductory videos from candidates via an external tool that come in through a Google Sheet, and then they're linked to Recruit CRM, and they show up in the Recruit CRM profile, and they're tagged, and our recruiters can like pop that up and look at it very easily. And then we've also built like a portal on top of Recruit CRM that our camp clients use, and they can see that video. So that's one of the coolest ones, because we sort of unlocked this new evaluation criteria, evaluation point for both us and our clients as they're reviewing candidates.
And to add to that, Aaron, one of the things you can potentially do for that same automation is you can actually add a step in the middle that takes the video recording that you have from the interview, send it to OpenAI's Whisper module, take the audio, convert it into a transcript, run it into OpenAI again with a prompt, rate it, and then based on that rating, figure out which candidate needs to be looked at first, second, never be looked at. So that's something else that's doable within both Zapier and our internal workflow automation tool. So that's fun. Emily? Why did you choose Recruit CRM? This was a fun story. I remember personally selling it to you because I was your sales rep myself.
Oh my God.
5 years ago.
I thought was the trick the whole time, because I have been searching for the project of changing a recruitment database. So approach people, 25 years experience, historical database, consultant across Europe.
Yes.
Hundreds of
Emily,
clients.
this is very rare, by the way. So they've been in business for over 25 years, and they have only ever used one system, and then they moved to us 5 years ago. So they hadn't like been through the whole ride of changing systems every 4 or 5 years. So it was just and so that's a very
and it was working fine in the 2000 when I joined Approach People the first time in 2008. Find that very great. It was great. But technology moved much faster than our previous database. And we had a huge database, and we didn't even know how to start to clean it, what to import, what to not import. And we didn't want to lose anything. We're a bit conservative, thinking, we need to keep everything. So we're looking at different systems, the bigger ones, and thinking if they're big, if they're well-known, if they're super strong as a CRM, they will have something for recruitment. And every time we felt that we had to adapt to the system, that to customize it, we needed to hire tech people or consultants, and that it was once and for all. And we decided, okay, we go small, and we will have people that will consider us as big clients, and so we'll go small. But then they didn't have the capacity to understand the complexity of a recruitment agency business. And we decided to go again after 2 years and a lot of hours of work, and kind of committed with someone else, and it was a nightmare. okay, let's take a white page and what do we want? And we made a list of everything we wanted. And I Googled it, find a Capterra review of you, Sean, of Recruit CRM, and
Yes.
just asked for a demo. Plus, I was doing it in French because at some point I thought, maybe it's because I have a different culture. I don't understand those big companies. And the review was in French, and I thought you were a French recruitment CRM
Okay, yeah.
company.
I'm not French.
And
I think that's very obvious.
as you showed up and you were showing me the demo, it was super quick. I think you took maybe 15 minutes. And I
Yeah.
was thinking, yeah. What's the catch? Yeah. What's the catch? Where is it going to come? Price, possibilities, and everything. And I had to tell you, what's the catch? What are you not telling me? Because I've been burned. And
Yeah,
I
and
was
I
so
told you
hard to convince.
it's a monthly subscription. If you're burnt, the most you can be burnt for is one user for 1 month trying to set something up, and you're not even getting it for your entire company. So there's
And so you
no,
gave me that as a demo. I had an account and I played with it. And I said, okay, so who's going to implement the CRM?
yeah,
How many hours? What do I need to do? What do you mean implementation? What do you mean customization? I show you. I said, but I'm not going to do it. You're doing it. I said, well, if you want, but you can do that. And in, I think, a day and a half with the finance director of the company, we played with it and we configured it all. And we thought, is that truly possible? Now, migration. How did that happen? And you promised a lot of updates and new products coming up. But what we've seen with our previous database was yes, that's coming up, never came up, ever. And you delivered super quickly. And my game is every time that I see the little gift in the morning, what are they doing right
yeah.
now? And following the
Emily's talking
development.
about the update icon we have, which you can click on to see all the updates that are released every week. Uh,
So
so
it's really, you answered everything, you were efficient, cost effective. And I feel that you were super honest. And you told me where you didn't know, you told me, but you had
that
an
is a
answer for everything and you even saw the future. Because we're always thinking someone, we're not the only recruitment agency in the world, someone must think about this. They must have
yeah.
thought about all the problems. We're not the only ones having those problems. And you anticipated even things that we didn't think that we would want. Now we want them.
In fact, Emily, at the end of this session, I'm going to show you two things that will hopefully blow the minds of both you, Aaron, and everyone watching. And we're just going to talk about the future of recruitment, right? And how people are going to go from using their mouse to interact with their database to something else. Uh, so
Cool.
this is going to be fun. But Aaron, your question, the same question to you. Did you just
Yeah.
check the out and get it yourself? Did you talk to one of our salespeople? Were you comparing us to other tools? Like how did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, we were comparing you for sure. We were using another ATS prior to this. It was
Right?
basic. It was super user friendly, more
Yeah,
user friendly than Recruit CRM. I'll put it out there,
sure.
right? And for the average recruiter, they really liked it. They liked that it was simple, the dashboards were cute, the color scheme. They loved it, right? But it didn't have nearly the amount of back end features that I needed to run a business, right? It was good for basic entry level recruitment tasks, but nothing beyond that. The real impetus for change, though, was that I found myself using two platforms. I found myself using an ATS for all the recruiting stuff, and then we were using HubSpot for all the like client
Sales.
related things. And so like we had a CRM and then we had an ATS and I was really looking for something that combined those two, which I know is a unique use case. But that's exactly what you do. So that was the hook for me, where I could literally sunset the other platforms I was using and combine to one platform, which has been great. Um, Now, what's making me stay, right? If you really want to know what's making me stay,
Yeah.
there are a couple of things that really stand out to me. The first is the level of customer service that you guys have. I don't know how you do it, but it's instant. It's instant. There's no other company I work with in the
Of humans.
world
Army of
that
humans.
that yeah, it's unbelievable. So anytime I need to chat, there's like a live person within like 2 minutes at any hour of the day. So I absolutely love that and will stick around because of that. And then the other reason that I hang out here and and attend platforms like this, is because when my recruitment team comes to me and says, I have a problem and I need help fixing it, 99% of the time I can fix it with Recruit CRM. Like I'll literally ping you or I'll ping someone else and I'll say, here's this problem I'm dealing with my team, help me solve it, and you'll figure out a solution or we'll figure it out together. So those two elements are powerful, and it's almost a business partnership now.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for you saying that. So since the beginning, we've really cared about customer support, how quickly or how many seconds it takes for the average person to get a response. But over the last 8 months, we've done something incredible with AI that our customers haven't even noticed. We get about 1,800 messages on our chat support every month. As of this month, 44% of them have been responded to by an AI robot that sounds and talks like a human and closes it successfully. And that's been insane because that's improved our support times. Today, our 90th percentile support times for humans that the robot's not able to help, because 43, 44, 45% robot, 55% go to the humans. The bottom 10% of chats that go to a human take 170 seconds to get a response. Wow. Which is still pretty good. And we believe is as we make the robot better, the robot responds in like 2 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever. The human response time will continue improving because then you have more humans per support chat that robot's not able to fix, right? So we're really working on pieces of technology that can take that to the next level. And I'll talk about some of that on how we can help recruitment businesses implement similar things in other parts of their workflow towards the end as well. But to go to this, now we're talking about some actionable strategies. So the viewers can adapt to scaling a recruitment business. So scaling a recruitment business is all about building systems and then adapting those systems as your company grows. The systems that work for you when you're 3 people won't work for you when you're 30, and the systems at 30 won't work when you're 60 and 70 and 80. A business sort of breaks every time it doubles in headcount because the more people, more problems, more types of specializations, and so on. Emily's nodding because Emily's like, I've been through each of those growth phases over the last decade. So we're going to talk about the 3 pillars that we're focusing on in today's webinar that drive sustainable growth. So 2 of these are straightforward, right? In recruitment, you need to get more clients, and then you need to place candidates at those clients. But what sits right in the middle of this is operational excellence, right? How do you connect sales, business development, and client account management with sourcing, recruitment, relationship building, consulting with candidates, and delivering those candidates to clients, and then post-placement support and so on? And how do you make it instant and high quality and perfect so you're not just another recruitment business that's spamming people with the same email and same LinkedIn and mail message, right? Because in today's world where bots can do that, it's very difficult to create a financial return from just copy pasting messages, and just downloading lists of email IDs or phone numbers just won't work. So before we move on, which of these pillars are you most keen in learning about today? So we have a few here. This is a quick poll. I'm going to keep it on for about 10 seconds. We have a few people responding. So I think it's only open to the people on Zoom. So
for the people on LinkedIn and YouTube, we're dropping the question and the option in the chat. So you can just pick the option that you want to choose and just copy paste it and drop it in the chat for everyone. So yeah, we'll leave the poll on for like about 30-40 seconds, and yeah, we'll continue till while the results keep coming in.
Alrighty. I don't want to end the poll and kill it, so I will keep it on for another 2 seconds and then kill. Done. Alrighty. Pillar 1, client acquisition. And as you guys know, we at Recruit CRM are big fans of The Office and the great Dunder Mifflin. So most of our GIFs are from The Office, which if you're a fan, you get it. Let me just close this out. So 60% of staffing agencies say client acquisition is their #1 challenge. The other 40% have all kinds of other challenges, customers not paying them on time, and it's split across But the biggest problem in recruitment for most segments in recruitment remains finding clients and getting someone to give you a job and them promising that they'll pay you a 20% or 25 or 30% fee if you find them. Once you get that, in most cases, most entrepreneurs and recruitment teams figure out how to fill the role, or their company dies. So what are the things that you need to do to make this happen? One, you need to build consistent multi-channel outreach. Traditional spamming does not work. You can't just behave like this is 2005 and put someone in a campaign that just sends them email after email after email, and then, or you just keep cold calling them. You need to have a multi-channel approach. So if you're hitting them up with an email today, in a few days, they need to be getting a LinkedIn message and then a phone call, and then maybe another message on email or on Twitter. You need to figure out how you can reach out to people on different touch points so that it's more real and authentic versus them feeling like it's a campaign that's just reaching out to them versus a human. That makes a massive difference in our experience. And we can prove that with data. It's also important to invest in employer branding and agency positioning. We've seen a lot of our customers, in addition to selling recruitment services, also selling employer branding services to their customers, because they tell them, if you have no brand, some people will pick offers that pay 5% less, but are with stronger, more reliable brands, right? Branding is important. And especially if you're an agency that works with mid-sized businesses that don't have brands, this is something you need to price into your offering, which is counterintuitive because, smaller companies tend to pay less than larger companies, but they're more work. So you need to figure out where the money is. Use data to personalize outreach. Try to use AI tools, collect data from conversations that you and your team have had previously. Streamline the proposal and candidate submission process. If you're a 5-person agency or a 50-person agency, it is a problem if your client outreach or submission emails don't look the same. You can't have every single person on your team deciding what they want to write when they reach out to a client. You as a firm need to have a level of standardization around, when we present candidates, we share these 5 data points and we share 3 sentences about the candidate, and not just, hey, Brian, here's a resume, take a look, right? You can't do that, right? And you either need to force that manually or use systems and tools like ours or our competitors even to set a system up, which leads to standardization. And also, a lot of our customers, now we have almost 2,000 customers, and we've been able to talk to them to understand what works and doesn't. Some of them have benefited greatly from market insights and salary benchmarking. So a lot of businesses, based on all of the recruitment they do, collect and collate that data, publish a report, put that report on their website, and that's probably one of the cleanest ways to get SEO. You are a specialist in the kinds of jobs you recruit for, and the best content people care about are, how hard is it to find a job in this segment? How many interviews do you need to do to get the average job? How much are you going to get paid? Those sort of articles and content get you enough traffic to organically boost up your website rank without you having to play games with SEO, right? So genuine content always wins. And even in the age of GPT, if you want ChatGPT or Perplexity to pull up your website when people are searching for, let's say, camp recruitment jobs or French or German language jobs in Ireland, if you have high quality content around that actual audiences are going to, you're going to get ranked. Now, there's some Recruit CRM features that are going to help you with this, with client acquisition. Now, there's a couple of things I'm going to show you on this slide, and then I'm going to show you something at the end after this, because it's something special that we have prepped for you that I'm talking about over and over again, because that's how special this is. We have a Chrome extension with off-limits management. Now, this is critical. So what we've been able to do in Recruit CRM, and we had to use a fake screenshot here because we don't want to share people's personal info. You're able to go to people's LinkedIn profile and you're able to source them both as candidates and clients, depending on whether you're a salesperson or a recruiter or both. And you can also tag or flag companies in Recruit CRM as customers, or people can be off limits because they're currently in a job, they're a contractor that's deployed, not available, or they work at one of your clients. And what off limits does in Recruit CRM is if you go to a random person on LinkedIn, even if they're not in your database, if they happen to work at a company that is, the system will tell you upfront that this person's not in our database, but the company they work for, let's say Netflix, is off limits. And that's very powerful if you're manually doing sourcing and you're a larger team where not everyone knows who the clients are and who's being sent and who's not being sent, and so on. We've recently partnered with a company called Unipile to introduce a new add-on within Recruit CRM called LinkedIn messaging. So how this works is you're able to sync all of your LinkedIn messages from your LinkedIn account, your LinkedIn Recruiter account, or LinkedIn Sales Navigator account into Recruit CRM. So you can actually view LinkedIn messages that your colleagues have sent to somebody, whether it's a client or a candidate. And you can add LinkedIn messaging into sequences in Recruit CRM. So you can create a sequence on Recruit CRM that sends someone an email. And if they don't respond in 3 days, you send them a LinkedIn message. And then it gives you a task to call them, and then you text them. And so you can do multi-channel outreach this way. And you can even send just one-off in-mails or LinkedIn messages from within Recruit CRM. Again, great for business development or recruitment, because not all your conversations are on email. So when you look at a contact profile in your database, it's awesome when you're able to instantly see that, hey, we don't have emails with this person, but Brian on our team had a LinkedIn thread going with them 4 days ago or 6 weeks ago. It gives you a lot more context when you're playing and saves time. Now I think they have a screenshot of the LinkedIn messages here. There's a few things on what you can do. You can see past LinkedIn conversations, switch between conversations you've had with that person or your colleagues have had, and directly send and receive messages, put them in sequences. And we have a way for you to standardize how you submit candidates to customers, including emails, portals, and executive search reports, where you can actually create multi-page PDFs that you send to customers and that you can create in about 4 clicks. So you can select a few candidates. You can have AI-generated content or templates set up that automatically format their profiles and put them into an 8 or 10-page brochure that you present to a customer. And you say, here's 8 people that would be a great fit for you. And they basically go through that brochure when you're looking at these candidates. You can also send clients online links where they click on a live link and they can see the candidates you have. You can show this to them in a list or in a Kanban board view where they have a pipeline that they can drag across. And then we also have summarizations. And this is very cool and handy because whenever you call a client or even a candidate for that matter, you can call them right from within Recruit CRM. You can record and transcribe the call. And then we use OpenAI to summarize the transcription and then put that into reports. So you as a manager, so let's say Aaron at the end of his day at 8 p.m. wants to see what phone calls someone on his team has made. He can go in and see the 20 phone calls someone made that day and just see the transcripts or the summarizations of those calls without having to listen to 40 or 50 minutes of audio, which he's unlikely to do. You can now create sequences and you can actually have AI create your sequences for you. So you can write a quick AI prompt and you can say, AI, can you please write me a multi-step sequence that will reach out to HR directors at IT staffing firms in Philadelphia? And you can give it more context about you, your business, your domain, and it'll write a custom multi-step campaign, which includes emails, to-dos for you to pick up the phone, LinkedIn messages, and more. And you can then streamline and personalize it. And you can do this in multiple languages: English, French, German, Portuguese, Spanish. Now we have a question. We have a quick poll again. How much time do you guys spend on repetitive tasks, right? Repetitive tasks could be formatting the CVs the same way every single time. They could be sending the same email from the same email template to the same people over and over again, every time you source folks. Anything that you do over and over again, that's essentially the same job. Okay, we have over 20 hours by one person, which is insane, not good. We have 5 to 10 and 10 to 20 hours by a bunch of people. That's 10 to 20 hours is pretty bad. 5 to 10 is manageable today, but we want to figure out how we can get it under that. So with this, we go to operational excellence, right? And this is some of the stuff that I think we have raised hands. Chavi, do you want us to take questions right now, or should we just wait till the end?
We'll wait till the end, Sean. Yes.
So please, Lisa, just type in your question and we'll wait till the end and take your question at the end. So operational excellence is essentially the largest part of today's webinar outside of the fun stuff I'm going to show you at the end. And this is the stuff that Emily and Aaron have been talking about most of our call: automations, workflows, essentially having robots do your job for you. And high-performing agencies automate ideally 45% of their admin workload. In Aaron's case, it sounds like he automates 90% of his admin workload. I hope that's accurate. And yeah, it is. It is. And so this is sort of like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? If most of you have seen that, you first need somewhere to live and stay, and then you need love, and then you need respect and self-actualization. When you're running a recruitment business, you have the same stuff. You have the really shitty work that you want to automate first. Then you have like more standardized workflows that you set up. Once you have that, now you have more time, and then you want to set up analytics and start looking at analytics, which you didn't have time to do before. Once you have analytics in place and you're looking at dashboards, you start saying, okay, I want to set incentives and align incentives and bonuses and other things in the right way so that people make the analytics I'm seeing look better. And then you continuously refine that process, right? This cycle just continues. You continue automating more tasks, standardizing more workflows. So, and then leveraging analytics and continuing to change bonus policies and salary bands and so on. And the way you do it in Recruit CRM is one, the big part of what a lot of our customers use us for is workflow automation. Now, all of these icons here are different applications like Adobe or even HubSpot or ADP for payroll or a SurveyMonkey to run surveys or a data lake product. And what people can do, or even QuickBooks or Xero for accounting. And what people do is a lot of people that we work with set up automations for common tasks. So common tasks could be something as simple as we are a recruitment agency that uses ZoomInfo or Lucia or Apollo to find people's phone numbers or emails. And they set up an automation that says every time a candidate or a client goes into the database, go to ZoomInfo, find their phone number, email. If it's a company, find information about them, their corporate hierarchy, their turnover, so on and so forth, and put it in Recruit CRM. A robot does this. A human literally just goes to LinkedIn, maybe saves a company, and then when they go to that company's profile, boom, there's a bunch of information there. There's an org chart. There's some news coming in. You can even set up automation so that ZoomInfo then sends you those news articles on Slack, which we can automate for you. You can set up contracts. You can send invoices to clients once you make placements based on rules you've set up. So there's a lot of interesting things you can do. You can screen candidates. We have one company we work with that has something like 70,000 applications coming in every month. And they have an AI bot reject 62,000 of them every month. And I imagine Aaron has something similar happen because he has thousands of Aaron, would you say you receive 5,000 or more applicants in the summer when you're in season, or less, more?
Yeah, like that plus I think this year we were up to 6,000. If I look at my database, there's something, we're like a couple of years in, there's like 25,000 people in there.
And how many of those people look at yourself? Like how many of those people do you try to automate into like a rejection based on the answers they give you and stuff? Or
yeah, I'd say about half get auto rejected. The challenge is that it's summer camp, so it's not obvious who's good and who's not, right? We're not looking for certifications. A lot of times it's people's first jobs. But we are able for like something like a chef or a nurse, it's very clear if they have, the right licenses and certifications, and we can auto reject people.
That's incredible. And the places where this matters is, for example, I'll give you an obvious one. Sometimes you might have a job published that's like a PhD job. But as we all know, when you post a job that says looking for a PhD researcher, you will get 95% of your applicants have probably not gone to finish school, right? Like that's just how the internet works, right? Everyone's just clicking on the LinkedIn apply button. And if as a human, you have to click onto the resume to actually read it, spend the 3 seconds for it to load, 5 seconds to scan through it, then hit X and then reject. It's just a monumental waste of your time if you're doing hundreds or thousands of those. And so if you can set up a robot that says, for this job, this is the criteria. If they don't, if education, there's a drop down, and if answer is not PhD, just reject and send them a thank you for applying email. And sorry, we can't proceed. And if you automate that and you get rid of 50%, 40%, 70% of your applications, you are saving an insane number of hours. So these are the places where you can save a lot of time. Automated data enrichment, automated candidate processing, automated video interview assessments by like transcribing the video interviews and so on. Emily, do you have any one of these automations that popping up into your mind that you think saves a lot of time for you?
I think that we built them with Zapier, and it's more with our internal system
Yep.
for declaration, for compliance, what we do when a candidate is placed, what who in the team needs to do what after, and it triggers everything is so automatic.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Emily,
come to my mind now, those ones.
yeah. So for example, if I remember correctly, you have an automation where you actually ask candidates for like a Google review once you place them.
Yeah, their emails, a series of emails. So the triggers is the stage at which step we are, references, etc., to make sure that recruitment consultant don't forget what is important at this step. Then we send those trigger automatization. And for marketing, we did that when they're placed after a certain of time, before the placement and before the start date, after the placement and before the start date, we can trigger. Do you want to comment on our job? Do you want to tell us how we did?
Awesome. And
Mm.
Aaron, I think you just unmuted your mic.
I need to build that. I need to build that. That's
You
really
need to build
smart.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna write that down. That's
yeah.
good.
The trick question, the trick way to build this is to essentially say every time you place a candidate or a candidate gets to a late enough stage,
Hmm.
send them a form, like a Google form that asks them how is their service between 1 to 5. And if they say 5, then send them a Google review form. That's
Okay.
like a magic way to get 5-star reviews. But so there's fun things you can do, and this just happens in the background. You're never really like, it's just running. The robot is just running and collecting Google reviews for your business and
Fabulous.
pushing your domain up. And we're talking about some stuff here. This allows batch processing, so you can like push in a bunch of automations in one go, which saves tasks because that's the currency that's used for a lot of these automation tools like Zapier and Workato, which is within Recruit CRM. Both work with Recruit CRM, so we're happy if you use either, as long as you're automating your business, because that's what's important. And what's also important is these are examples of things you can do, right? You can automatically close jobs. You can auto reject candidates based on their answers to questions like we discussed. You can automatically send job acceptance emails to candidates based on their language, for example. So if it's a job that requires French speaking skills at a certain level, and then that's one of the options, and someone says, I don't speak French, you probably can't have them be a French support manager or a German support manager and so on. There's a lot more to explore. We actually have an entire, if you do a demo with someone on our team, we actually have a 50-page document on the 50 different kinds of sample automations you can set up in different parts of your business, from data enrichment to workflow automations, like everything. And then there's a few examples here: calculate commissions, send surveys, so on and so forth. We recently launched something new. Now, this is more for larger growing businesses. Ideally, once you get to 10, 12, 15 people, and then you're starting to think about analytics in a deeper way. So Recruit CRM has always had standard reports that are completely free with our product. You can set up teams. Now you can more recently set up targets and stuff as well. Advanced analytics is a completely different animal. So the audience, or the target audience for us for advanced analytics, are companies that are now thinking about analytics in a deeper and bigger way, and are planning to buy an analytics platform like Power BI or Tableau or Looker, and planning to hire their own data analyst. And what we have done is we've said, instead of making that big investment and committing well into the tens of thousands of dollars or euros or pounds, how about we charge you a subscription fee, give you an analytics platform. So this is in a partnership with a company called Metabase, which does analytics just like a Power BI. And we give you a part-time data consultant from our team who builds any and all reports you need. So they basically become your data analytics assistant. Now, the reason we don't, now any customer can buy it, including smaller teams with 2 or 3 or 4 people. The reason we don't proactively sell it to smaller teams is because we lose money on the smaller teams when we do it, because the amount of energy and time we spend customizing it is like hours and hours, because we have to really tailor it to your business. But if you're a smaller team and you want it, feel free to go get it, right? Because it's price per user anyway. Now, we want to eliminate the guesswork in hiring. That's the entire point of reports and analytics. You want to create tailored reports that matter to your business. For example, in some businesses, you might have a very straightforward conversion rate between the number of phone connects you have and the number of interviews you get. In other businesses, a better KPI would be the number of interviews you have scheduled versus the candidates you have just submitted. And in some businesses where for every 3 candidates you submit, 2, all 3 get an interview and 1 gets a job, maybe just submittals become the key KPI. So you as a business need to identify what your North Star metric is, and then make sure you make that a KPI and a target for your team on a weekly, monthly, and annual basis even. So, there's a bunch of basic reports as well. So you can look at your pipeline of jobs. You can look at the number of candidates you have in each stage within a job. This is right on our dashboard, so you don't even have to like build a report for this. You can filter this by an individual. You can filter this by teams. You can Boolean search on this. And then we try to organize everything on Kanban boards. So if someone's not used to this, like, Recruit CRM is going to look very funny because we have Kanban boards for everything. We have Kanban boards for candidates within jobs. We have 3 different SKUs for it. Kanban boards for candidates in your jobs, Kanban views for candidates in a specific job, Kanban view for candidates by owner of a job, Kanban views for candidates by client, a Kanban view of your clients in different stages, a Kanban view of deals, a Kanban view of like client or leads or prospects, and Kanban view of open on-hold jobs and so on. So the idea is we love boards. We think it's visual and it's more, it's a nicer thing to look at as a recruiter every day than just a list of rows, which is also an option, but I just think it's easier on the eyes. And we very recently integrated Google Meets, Teams, and Zoom within Recruit CRM, which means either right from LinkedIn or even from within Recruit CRM, you can actually just click on create meeting and add meeting link, and we will go to your Zoom account or Teams account or Google Meet account and get a conferencing link, put it on your calendar, so you don't have to go to another platform to do it. As of last week, we also launched a scheduler, so you can actually replace Calendly with our free scheduler that's available to all of our customers. So you can send people links to book meetings with you, and those can go into Zoom and Microsoft Teams. And again, that's free. So it's a free replacement to Calendly for customers and people that want it. And now to the best segment that I'm going to show you some magic in towards the end. Again, 72% of candidates unfortunately say they have a poor experience with working with recruitment agencies. We've heard of instances where candidates literally, when they get contacted, ask, are you the employer, or are you just an agency? If you're an agency, I don't want to talk to you, right? Because they have bad experience with agencies in certain roles. And this is more true in certain roles than others. For example, in medical recruitment, where the candidates are high in demand, they have a lot more leverage over saying, I don't want to talk to an agency, or I'll only talk to the 1 or 2 agencies that I've talked to in the past and stuff like that. Versus in, let's say, in fresh college graduate type roles, candidates more desperate, they're going to talk to anyone. So it's quite a skew. Now, how do you get around sourcing the right candidates and engaging them? Now, we're going to talk about some of this stuff, and then I'm going to show you some magic. One, you need to expand your channels beyond traditional job boards, right? So instead of, and I believe most agencies that we work with are in the market have stopped relying exclusively on posting ads on an Indeed and expecting candidates to apply and then being just able to place those candidates and make fees. You now have to actively headhunt candidates on LinkedIn, work on referrals, and actually build relationships with candidates. So when they're looking to change a job in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they actually think about you, message you back, and you're able to pick them up when they're interested in looking for a job versus when you have a job on your desk. you need to use technology to improve candidate job matching accuracy. By the way, this is something that we are continuing to work on Recruit CRM. We're working on improving this technology ourselves. We don't claim to have perfect candidate matching technology, but we have it and we're improving it. How can you serve the candidate as well, right? So as an agency, one of the things we've seen agencies not work on and focus on is, while they create a lot of like benchmarking tools for customers for business development and thought leadership, not a lot of agencies focus on building content for their candidate pools. And if you're able to build high quality content for your core candidate pool and your candidate pool is engaged, when you have a job, you'll be able to fill it a lot faster, make your customers happier, and thus get more roles and more revenue, right? So it's because these are two spokes, it's a chicken and egg problem, right? So you need jobs to fill roles, but you need candidates to fill them, and then and back and forth. And it's also really important to set up automations, either through tools like Workato and Recruit CRM, through Zapier outside, or through internal maybe sequences, to nurture candidates. So if a candidate is not interested in a role today, the silliest thing you can do is say not interested and forget about them, and then they die in your database basically, because they're like, 10,000 candidates down your list and no one's ever going to see them again. What you need to do at that point is ask yourself, is this a quality candidate that you can place one day if you were to present them at a job? And if that is true, you need to put them in a campaign where you as a company reach out to them every 6 months or every year and just ask them, hey, hope you're fine, happy birthday. If you're tracking their birthday, you can set up automations to do this today. It's not that hard. And you can do this in Recruit CRM. You can do it in other tools too, probably. So setting up automations is critical. And obviously analyze placement data to refine sourcing and screening. So I just want to ask Emily and Aaron a quick question on this, right? So when you go about sourcing, how are you doing it today on the sourcing piece? What are your key sources and what are you doing differently?
Well, we use Recruit CRM a lot, but I would say that as many recruiters and recruitment agencies, you will know that LinkedIn is a huge sourcing platform for the kind of business that we run. So we use LinkedIn and we use Recruit CRM together. The extension is super easy. We also use the AI features that we have already in the system. Like in LinkedIn, there is a popular feature like find similar profile with same characteristic. You have something similar with candidate that you find somewhere else. So we have actually a unique database because we have job boards in Germany, in France, in Spain, for those markets, but everybody in the company can benefit from that through Recruit CRM. So finding the matching candidate and offering something different to our client, that is really good. And and the massive import, we source everywhere. We try to find creative strategies to find those candidates. Referrals, so it's important for us to track where did we find the candidate that we managed to send, to place, to interview, and get more of what works and less of what doesn't work, so that we are able to track it. Importing those data and being compliant with GDPR in Europe, it's a massive thing. To be compliant with GDPR, we can do that as well through sourcing, but compliantly and with quality.
Brilliant. Aaron?
We cast a very, very wide net. We recruit nationally. Indeed is a massive source for our volume. So we invest heavily in Indeed, basically as our main job board source. And then the extra layer on top of that is like the time that my recruiters are spending is not like configuring job boards. It's almost strictly passive sourcing on LinkedIn or super niche networks on Reddit and Facebook and all these other like really small places where you could uncover a candidate. So I'd say we use both elements, but where the creativity and the brain work goes into is really on the passive sourcing and trying to find people in small places on the web.
I'll tell you something that you're going to like hearing. As of today, we have LinkedIn Direct Apply in Recruit CRM available within the multi-posting tool we have. So you can post jobs and you can actually get direct apply candidates in. We are waiting for Indeed's approval to have it on Indeed as well. We built the tech, so hopefully by the end of the month, not July, because July is over in 2 days, but hopefully in 2 to 4 weeks, we should have an Indeed approval too. So you will be able to not just post jobs to Indeed from Recruit CRM, but get direct apply candidates directly inside, which you can then process immediately via an automation without having to put more tools in the middle to like bring them in automatically. So that should be good to do it. We also worked with our partner Wonk, who does these job board postings, multi-postings, to dramatically reduce the cost of multi-posting. So it's going to cost roughly $3 to $4 per unique job to post a job. So if you take a unique job and you post it on 3 job boards, the total cost is $3. And if you get 10,000 applicants, that's still $3 total to automatically put it on multiple job boards that you control and get thousands of applicants or hundreds of applicants automatically direct. Yes. So it's the cheapest alternative today available to any multi-posting tool. Like the other ones we support as well, like Broadbean and Logic Melon, that don't have direct apply. So that should be cool, and a massive time saver to recruitment businesses that are receiving applicants. Now I'm going to show you something that is magical. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen to share it. This is a new tool that we're releasing next week. It's called AI Sourcing, as the name suggests. And what it does, and this is our essential challenge to helping our customers reduce their dependency on LinkedIn Recruiter, which is something that, you know, Emily's team has been reaching out to us about, because, you know, they spend probably more than $250,000 a year on LinkedIn. And it's crazy, right? It's ridiculous. And so how do we do this? Now in Recruit CRM, we have, and I'm quickly sharing my screen, you will have a new button. Now this is live on my account, so I'm showing you real stuff live. It's just not live on everyone else's. Just like you can do a Boolean search, you can do AI sourcing. And I've already pre-done one, but I can do another one. So you basically go in and I can say, find me customer support associates or managers that speak French, but are based in Ireland. And what this is doing is this essentially uses Gemini, which is Google's LLM, and converts it into a Google X-ray search and finds people that have LinkedIn profiles. Once it finds them, it uses a scraping tool we have to bring up their core information that's publicly available and published by them on the internet. And then we use that to consolidate this and make it, we again use Gemini to consolidate it and make it look nice and show it to you on your screen. So when I see these people, I can go in and I can save their profiles. So these are people that are not in Recruit CRM, they're on LinkedIn, and I'm sourcing right from here. And once I source them, if I go to their profiles, or I could assign them to a job right from there, once I go to their profiles, one of the things our system does is they're available, and we'll try to see if we have their email or phone number available. Sometimes you'll have both, sometimes you'll have one. In rare cases, you'll have none. And I'm not going to unlock our phone number because then everyone on this webinar will be able to see it. But basically, you can unlock someone's email and send them an email, or send them an in-mail right from here, because now we can do that as well. And that's now you're no longer leaving the platform to go to LinkedIn to source. And thus you don't need a LinkedIn recruiter seat to a large extent, or you need significantly fewer LinkedIn recruiter seats if you just needed them for job slots. Now this tool's obviously, like, we're using a bunch of tech to make this possible. Some of it is cheap, some of it is expensive. But what we are doing is we're giving 50 search credits to every single user on our business plan for free, which means every user can run 50 searches, get 10 results per search, so 500 new people sourced each month for free. For Emily's team, I think that's like 25,000 people that you can technically search for in a month, which is a decent amount of people. Obviously, some of these searches will yield shitty results, and then you have to like make it more specific and say, no, I need them to live in this place and have so many years of work experience and so on. But you're able to search, and then beyond that, it'll literally cost 1 cent a result if someone wants to go beyond the 500 per user threshold, still significantly. So you can get 100 new candidates for $1. once you've exhausted your free threshold. So pretty exciting stuff. We're really excited about this. This will be live next week. Now, in addition to this, there's something else we're working on, which we believe will be a bigger game changer. We are working on OpenAI's MCP server to have essentially GPT in Recruit CRM. Now, this is just a rough prototype. It doesn't have all of the capabilities because it'll take us 2 months to truly get it right. But essentially, you can ask GPT questions and GPT can answer your questions about your data. Like the simple things you can think about are, how many notes did I add today? Or what did this person do? And give me a link to this person's profile. I can't think about who they are. And find me. But what the level 2 of this, which we expect to have in 2 months, is having it perform actions for you. Can you get me a list of all candidates that were submitted to jobs that were in this industry that reached the interview stage but didn't get further? Great. Now put them in sequence 4. So you basically have a robot do that. And the third layer of this, which I think will probably take a little longer to get to, probably end of this year, early next year, is set up a complete agent here. Essentially say, hey, GPT, use the AI sourcing tool that I have access to and search for candidates that meet this criteria. Find the first 200 candidates that you can. Try to unlock their email using the credits you have if you can, and put them in this sequence to reach out to them. And you're basically able to take a lot of sourcing talent and turn them into consultants, or if someone can't become a consultant, you get rid of them. But you're able to have a more consolidated, tight, hardcore team. And the robot does a lot of the outreach for you. And this, we believe, will be completely transformative in terms of how recruitment agencies are using technology. So we're pretty excited about it.
Wow.
There's some cool stuff we're working on as well, which we want to add into that, but it sounds very crazy. But I'll tell you, since it just happened today. Today was the first time in the history of Recruit CRM that we did a sales demo where the SDR that booked the sales demo was a robot. We had a robot that we've trained call a real human, tell them that they were representing Recruit CRM, talk to them for 5 minutes, make jokes, and book a meeting in one of our sales rep calendars. And they did the demo. It was a legit lead, so now we haven't sold it yet. But the fact is, if we were able to do it, and we were sampling this by having the robot call 5 people every day for the last 20 days and tuning it. And in the beginning, everyone was like, hey, you're a robot. It is a robot. And this time, this person didn't know. And that was crazy. And our idea is sometime next year, we want to have the capability to have a pre-trained recruitment sourcer for both business development and recruitment available as a Recruit CRM product, where you can basically hire Recruit CRM and maybe train a pre-trained version of that bot to make phone calls on your behalf as a recruiter or as a salesperson representing Approach People or Campire. And then when you use our GPT sequence, you can tell GPT, source people, put them in this sequence, and the sequence can maybe have an AI agent caller step. So you're no longer even picking up the phone. You just have a robot doing everything, finding people, sourcing people, reaching out to them. And only when they respond or they engage or they book a meeting do you as a human go in. So humans are only interacting with warm leads and thus producing significantly more revenue for your business. So again, that's how we see technology going, and that's what we're working towards doing, and it's going to be awesome. Now I'm going to share my screen again and show you the next piece of technology. Some of this is already, or most of this is already in the system, right? So other cool things you can do with the system are you can set up job descriptions using GPT. So we have GPT in every part of the system. You can use GPT to generate email templates to reach out to candidates and clients. You can use GPT to create candidate summaries and profiles. And you can use AI matching in Recruit CRM. I will be honest, we're working on this technology to make it far superior to how it is today. So because we currently use a partner on this, and we're planning to build this using an LLM directly. But we still have candidate matching today. In some cases, it's accurate. it doesn't have the same 90% accuracy level that we have in our other features like AI sourcing and so on. So, we want to be honest about what parts of our technology we're proud of and which ones are okay. And again, you can parse resumes in over 24 languages. You can test this out. I think Emily can confirm it parses in French all right, and Spanish and German and so on. And you can instantly parse resumes directly from your mailbox as well. So you open up your mailbox and Recruit CRM to parse people. We have a bunch of case studies here, including one from Emily, which is in the slide deck for this. So you can click on these links and watch case studies we have with our customers, which include video testimonials. And you can try out all our features or more at recruitcrm.io. If you click on this link here, you can go do a demo. And it takes about 30 seconds to set up the free demo account, and then you can try it out. But cheers, Chavi, all yours.
Yeah, we'll now have a quick Q&A round since we're already over time, but we have, I think mostly Emily and Aaron answered a couple of questions for the people in the chat already. So we have like 1 to 2 questions that I've kept handy. So we had Alice asking, is the Italian language supported?
Yes, Italian language is supported, and I can attest that German, French, English, Spanish, Polish, we have so many that we use on a daily basis, and it works
This is
really well.
screen share. So for parsing, of course, Italian is supported, but Recruit CRM is also available in Italian. So you can actually use Recruit CRM in Italian with all the buttons and everything in Italian. So that is available.
Awesome. Cool. We have another question from Nick. He's asking, I was told that Zapier can be limited for certain automations. Does Recruit CRM work with Make.com, Relevance, AI, or N8N?
I believe we do have an integration with N8N. I have to double check, but we work with a bunch of others. So for example, we have workflow automation or Workato within Recruit CRM that allows batching. So Workato is a $5 billion business that does automations that we resell within Recruit CRM with our consultants, which allows batching for automations to reduce costs. So for example, if you want an automation to run every time a candidate is added, you can batch it every hour. So you have 200 candidates added in an hour, consuming just one task, which saves tasks. We have a few other tools that we integrate with that are similar to Zapier, like Integrately and a few others. I'm not sure we have a Make app at the moment. We can double check that and maybe put that in the notes for this webinar.
Awesome. We have an interesting question from Jane. She's saying that according to Trustpilot reviews, Recruit CRM users report noticeable lag when loading candidate profiles, especially with large data sets. The interface sometimes needs to be reloaded to view updated content. So why should I pay for a system overloaded with features when faster, more reliable alternatives like Bullhorn or Windcherry exist that can actually keep up?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
We've had performance issues in the past, and we've worked very hard to improve them. This is our live status page that's our internal status page that I'm just giving you access to. It tracks downtime and everything else across all our services. So we have servers in Asia, in Canada, in Europe for everything we have. So you could technically have, for example, the resume parser going down for a minute, for example, in one of the regions. Our uptime in the last 24 hours is the gold standard, and you can Google this in performance, 99.999%. And in the last 7 days, it actually rounded up to 100% because it was 999.9 a few more times. So we've really worked hard on making sure uptime is better. We've also worked on updating our tech stack. So one of the big problems we had in the past was we had and I can possibly show this even on the screen. We had a traditional UI, and I can show you the difference. So we have the old version UI, and what the old version UI was, we basically loaded lists of candidates, page by page by page by page, which slowed a bunch of stuff down, which we are essentially replacing and have already replaced for a lot of users with our new UI that is essentially an infinite scroll. So it just keeps scrolling. It loads live. It's instant. You can like move columns around. You can do fun stuff around pinning columns. The search is smoother and better. So we have certainly worked on that over the years instead of just pumping in features. So that's been one of the big projects 20% of the team is working on.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Sean. So I think those are all the questions we have. Does anybody else have any other questions? We'll just pause for about 5 to 7 seconds to see if anybody else wants to drop in any questions. All right. I think we have a couple of questions. We have Jane asking something. How does Recruit CRM's AI adapt to my specific hiring patterns over time? Is it actually learning from recruiter behavior and outcomes, or is it just running preset logic on top of data?
So at the moment, depends on which AI you're talking about specifically. So for example, the sourcing agent is designed to just respond to requests that you're making. So essentially English or French or German that you've written and converting it into Google search queries. If you're talking about AI that is used for creating summaries, so for example, AI is used in different parts of the application, writing emails, creating summaries, creating profiles. When you use AI to create summaries, it actually takes context from the entire profile and all the notes and stuff you've written on that profile. But we don't have a training model within Recruit CRM. So we're essentially not training the AI automatically based on your instance. If you wish to do that, you can do it. We have customers and companies that have their own OpenAI instance for matching, for example. And what they do is every time a candidate applies to a job, they automatically send it to OpenAI to score the candidate, bring them into the system. And then if a candidate scored poorly on that custom field that they've set up, does make it to the next stage in the interview process or get selected, they go back and push that data into their OpenAI model to tell it that that was actually an inaccurate assessment. And then that continues training the model. But then you're basically building your own agency ABC model versus Recruit CRM's overall model that's trained across all of the data versus just the data on your specific account.
All right, thank you, Sean. I think those are all the questions we have. So yeah, we're already, over time. So we're coming to the end of the session. And thank you all for sharing your insights and, for joining us today, both you and Aaron and Emily. Do you guys have any closing remarks before we wrap up the session? No?
Nope. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of the session. If you found today's session valuable, we encourage you to share your feedback and spread the word about the event on social media. For those interested in learning a bit more about Recruit CRM, let me quickly share my screen, actually. That might be better. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so for those interested in learning a bit more about Recruit CRM, how it can help streamline your recruitment processes, you can visit our website or schedule a demo. We already shared the link earlier. We're also excited to continue these conversations with all of you on this topic and more topics on social media channels. So do follow us for the latest updates and resources. And for weekly discussions on all things recruitment and technology, check out Recruit CRM exclusives, our blog, and you can also subscribe to our email newsletter. And don't forget to connect with Emily and Aaron on LinkedIn. We're dropping their links in the chat right now. So yeah, thank you again to all for joining us, and we'll see you at our next event very soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Cheers.